So we had TwitchCon this weekend and Nikita gave an interview on stage. He discussed the future of PvE, 1.0 release, removal of the flea market and a lot of other things as well. There are 18 questions in total. I'm not going to go through every single one, but we will touch on them and try and pick up some of the highlights. So stick with me and let's get on with this. So when Nikita was asked about the current wipe and progression, he said this isn't how it's supposed to be and it sounds like it has been balanced too far to the easy side. So we'll probably expect it to be toned down a little bit in future wipes and in future updates. When he was asked about the future direction of the game in terms of changes of genre or in change of what it's going to be, Nikita responded that the core of the game is currently in place and all we're going to be doing from now on is iterating on what they already have and improving it and making it more fun. Well, not fun. He actually said deliberately it's not going to be fun in the classic Nikita way that he always says that. Nikita was also asked if the flea market is going to be removed and he did touch on this, but while also talking about hardcore mode and prestige. The way it was phrased may have been a bit of a strange translation, made it sound like hardcore mode and prestige will be linked together. I don't know if it will be or not. Like I say, could just be translation. But what he was saying for the hardcore mode is quite simply that you can disable certain features while you have that playthrough. So if you don't want to have access to the flea market, you can uncheck a box which says flea market access and then you no longer have flea market access for your hardcore playthrough. But this does sound like it would be completely optional. He also teased the idea of removing the flea market for an entire wipe. We'll see if that happens or not. He mentioned several times in the interview that Tarkov will be continuing to be supported for at least another decade. This will include DLCs and other things along that nature, including events, etc. He also said there's a new game in the works, so it sounds like a lot of the team may be moving on to this new project while leaving just the core behind in order to deal with Tarkov. When asked about new endgame content, he said prestige system will become available in terms of points, levels and stuff. He said that all of the endgame will be in the storyline quest. Confirmed once again that storyline will only be available in final release. Nikita was also asked about bringing back Tarkon and other arena events, and he did say yes, this was planned and it really depends on how much the community wants to have these things. So the more noise we make, the more likely there will be more events in the future. When asked about PvE, Nikita said that initially there's a very small portion of the team were put onto PvE and he was very surprised at just how popular PvE was. And because of this level of popularity, they've now assigned more people to the PvE side and it looks like it's going to be getting a little bit more love as time goes forward. He's also asked if they have any plans to make PvE compatible with existing mods and Nikita did say yes, but he did say this will be done after release and bringing those existing mods in will have to follow some sort of process in order to make sure that they're safe and that they're fully moderated while coming in. Nikita was also asked about neck armor and he did say that he understands this is a current pain point and they will do something. This may involve changing hitboxes. They haven't quite decided yet, so we'll have to wait and see what changes for that. Touch very briefly on Unity 22, and the important point for Unity 22 is that there will be no immediate change to the game that you will notice as a player. Quite simply, Unity 22 gives them the framework that they need in order to build out new features in the future going forward. So don't expect anything to suddenly miraculously change when Unity 22 engine update gets added. This is currently being tested on the ETS and he said that people have just reported that it's working. So, good news there. And for the final point, I want to talk about the 1.0 release. He didn't explicitly say it will be released in the next year. However, the phrasing was it had been working on events as well as a main storyline quest. And he did say this will be shown to us over the next 12 months. While that's not confirmation that release will be coming within the next year, it certainly is the best piece of evidence we've had to date.
I'm sitting down on the sofa with Nikita or Nick, because we're friends like that. And he said I could call him Nick. Guys, if you don't know who this man is, the founder of Battle State Games, of Escape from Tarkov and Escape from Tarkov Arena, and DJ extraordinaire, probably a bunch of other stuff as well, but we've only got like half an hour. So, Nick, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Hey. Welcome, and as always, love to be here on a TwitchCon. Yeah, let's go.
And Nick joined us in Rotterdam as well. We were playing Arena at TwitchCon EU. He came up, we asked him a ton of questions. He gave us the answers to some of them. He refused to give us the answers to the others. I know that you wanted to start off with some statements today, right? To talk about the state of the game?
Yeah. Like a quick update what's going on right now. So the thing that I want to mention that we just released the milestones and stuff for the future. It has a lot of things that will be in the game, so you should check it and see by yourself. But also, there's the thing that we prepare pretty cool stuff for you this year. and we won't disclose it yet because we want to make a surprise for you guys. And yeah, so things are going, bugs getting fixed. So don't worry, all the issues that we have right now, it's getting addressed as we speak, because even we are here, it's a really limited amount of people right here. The team is working 24/7 to fix all of this stuff, to fix all of this, you know, annoying things within the game. So don't worry, everything will be all right. It's almost 10 years of Escape from Tarkov. It's a huge number actually, and it's pretty unique for the gaming industry to have the game which being worked on for the whole 10 years, and it's a miracle. Not only it was done not only by ourselves, but with you guys, of course, the players, and all these engaged people who are into this Escape from Tarkov miracle. So thank you guys, and yeah, that's what I wanted to say for the status. Yeah.
10 years of development on this game. Guys, come on. The amount of work that goes into this game is just, I mean, it bleeds out of every pore of Tarkov. Like, just the detail of everything is so phenomenally in depth. And the community feedback, I know, is incredibly important to the Battlestate Games team. And we have questions here, a mixture of just things that we wanted to ask and community questions as well. And I think it's time to get into them because we have a lot, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get through them all. So I'm going to read these out exactly as written because I want to make sure that if someone asks a question, it's asked properly. So Nick, first question, are you happy with the current state of the game's economy and the player's progression? Will we ever see a more hardcore enemy?
So yeah, this vibe particularly, it's not what's supposed to be in terms of progression, because we added arena, we added this new marathon quests, and it actually gave you a lot of experience, so the pace was increased for sure. And it's not how it's meant to be in Escape from Tarkov style. So most likely for the next Vive, there will be some, you know, changes that will slow down the progress for sure. Because right now, let's take it as it is, as a test maybe. And yeah, that's it. Because it's not like a problem. Because of course, we get it that it was too fast actually. But some of you like still think that it's okay because like not everyone is a streamer basically and have an option to play the game every single day for 6 hours, 8 hours, etc. So yeah, every single vibe there is something new is going on in terms of balance, economy and stuff. So let it be this way. So this vibe is different. The next vibe will be totally different too. And everything will be balanced in different way. We'll see how it will go.
Okay. So what is the future direction of the game? So MMO, maybe massively multiplayer online, or something closer to a raid-based shooter?
So right now, I think the most part of like the bigger part of the team is working on an actual completion of the game. So you all know that the game will have storyline quests, and it will have an option to finally escape from Tarkov. So that's why we're pushing on it. And right now it's more about to add the end game content within the game. And yeah, it will be around the whole principle of raids. And yeah, it will be around like this. Because the MMO aspect of the game, it still will be in there, but I think the gameplay wise, we kind of settled in, and I think the core gameplay is ready, and we won't change something drastically. So yeah, this is it.
Next question's about the flea market. It says, there was a poll made to remove the flea market next wipe, and 47% said yes, 45% said no. Will we ever expect to see a wipe without a flea market, even just as a test? And what are the general plans for the flea market?
So the percentage is not all right, because it will leave a lot of people unhappy, basically, if we select like this or that. So most likely the removal of the flea market will be as an option for the hardcore mode. So we plan to have this whole prestige system within the game, and you'll be able to pick the perks and the drawbacks before you start the game. And one of the drawbacks will be like removal of the flea market. So at least it will be as a test for some of you guys if you will select that option. But other than that, I'm not sure that we will remove it totally for the vibe. But again, it's possible actually, because I love the idea that every single vibe has something new, has something different in it. So who knows, maybe we'll remove that at least for one vibe and see how it will go. Because I personally don't like the flea market. I was loving it. I was loving it for the many years, and right now I'm feeling that it's not good for the progression and for the whole principle of the game itself. But it is what it is. It's a different style of gameplay. It's you can have basically the different role within the game. You can be the trader basically, and you won't need to play the game as much that other people do. So it is as a workable, livable thing within the game. But yet, due to the complexity of the game, all of the stuff we have in the game, flea market adds unneeded, let's say, combination, unneeded things that actually boost up or slow down progress. It's kind of hard to track the progress and how to be on the pace with the progress within the game with the flea market, because it allows you basically to make your progress much more faster by obtaining items like high-end items in early stages of the game. So it's not cool. We will think about it in the future. So yeah, maybe something will be happening about it, but at least it will be an option for the hardcore mode for the game.
I honestly, one of my favorite things about speaking to Nick is that you can tell there's not really like a PR filter like you get when you do most interviews. Someone will ask like, what do you think about this feature of the game? And he's like, I don't like it, honestly. And that kind of honesty is exactly why we've got this huge crowd of people standing behind the crowd as well, watching this. So thank you for coming to talk to us. And you've been working on this, like you said, for a decade now, 10 years. So what are the plans for the team for after Tarkov? Will you resume development on Russia 2028, or are you working on something different?
So first of all, the Tarkov will not end with the release of the game, so it will be DLCs and stuff. And most importantly, there will be new game, and we already kind of started the pre-production phase on that, and you will see. But again, the EFT must be released, must be polished, and actually all of the stuff we planned for the release is kind of locked in. We actually don't add anything right now, so it's kind of locked and ready to be done and eventually to be released. And that's important. After that, we will have the DLCs and everything, so the game will be live for at least one more decade or something, because it's already became a classic, I guess, and that's cool. That's cool because it's always a good thing for us, for developers, to see every single year for the whole 10 years, we kind of pushing our limits to something even bigger and bigger and bigger. And as I said before, it's a true miracle, and not only about our hard work, it's also about you guys, about your reactions, your feedback, and your dedication to the project. I received so many responses for this only single day. So yeah, we love you guys, and thank you for staying with us. Like, it's a good thing for us to keep going. Thank you.
And I think, honestly, saying that this game is a classic is kind of underselling it. Like, you literally spawned a genre of games now that are just sort of like, hey, have you played this new Tarkov knockoff game? Like, it is pretty incredible to basically now have your own category of games based on what you guys have done and continue to do.
It was totally unexpected that there will be a realization that we actually created a genre. It was unexpected, unexpected to say the least. So yeah, yet again, we just want to create a unique experience, and maybe it sounds dull, it sounds okay, but we really are trying to do the best, and it's still 10 years, and we still have something for you guys to surprise, and 100% you will love it, and yeah, you will experience that, and yeah, that's the most important thing, to see your reactions, to see your feelings, to see you're basically surprised, and it's super cool for us to see that and to feel that too.
I want to roll the next two questions into one because they're both related to what you said before about how development doesn't end when the game gets finally released as a polished game with endgame content. Will there be more endgame content? For example, having something to spend millions of rubles on for a unique item that persists through wipes, more rewards for achievements such as unique hideout decorations, trophies, or any other long-term goals we can progress towards? And would there be any new monetization plans like camo skins, clothes, hideout cosmetics, things like that?
As I mentioned before, there will be a prestige system that will allow you to play the game constantly, repeatedly, and to earn some unique stuff. So you basically will complete the game, complete the main quests, and you will be able to restart it, but you will receive the prestige points or something. So it will be different prestige levels and some unique stuff, the first thing. And again, as I mentioned it before, all of the end game content will be settled in the storyline quests. To complete the storyline quest, you will need to complete almost every aspect of the game. You'll need to spend a lot of money within the game, complete a lot of quests. So basically, the main driver to experience the end game content will be the completion of the storyline quests. And of course, I cannot say more about it because, as I mentioned it many times, the quests, storyline quests, will be available only in released version of the game. You won't be able to test them before because it's the final, how to say it, final shot, let's say it like this, to surprise you in a good way and to have this feeling that the game is actually completed and all of your effort you put in the game will be around some very important tasks called storyline quests. So yeah, eventually, soon enough, you will experience that because we spend a lot of time on that right now. We started doing them in the last year, so it's an ongoing process. A lot of effort is being put onto the storyline quests, and hopefully you will enjoy it soon enough.
Soon enough. That's not soon enough. Everyone is just so excited for the endgame content for this game to be released in full. Are there any plans to rework the operational tasks? Currently, they are too randomized and sometimes have out-of-the-way objectives for little reward. For example, killing other scavs as a scav for an operational quest for fence for only 0.1 rep and a few bandages. And I'm going to remind you, these are questions from the community, and I'm trying to read them as they're presented. They're quite blunt questions, a lot of them.
For the operational tasks, I think there will be another balancing pass on them because there is a lot of different generated subtasks for that, and it's not always perfect in terms of awards and everything. So most likely it will be balanced pretty quick, maybe for the next patch or the patch after the next patch. So yeah, something will be done in terms of that.
In your opinion, what is the ideal loot economy meant to be? Do you want resources to be scarce and more hardcore? Or do you want players to hunt expensive items to fund lesser valued items through the flea market and traders?
It's a good question, actually, because I was always a fan of hardcore type of game. So the initial concept of the game was about the actual struggling. So the ammo and everything, like treatment items, the initial concept about them was like they were too scarce, like too rare to find. And that was kind of main thing. So you actually need to find like 5 rounds, 10 rounds, like one single grenade in 1 week. So I was always a fan of that. So it's like hardcore type of thing. But due to expansion of the game, let's call it like this, a lot of people got excited about the game, and we got a lot of people from the mainstream even. So it was too hard for them to actually understand and play the game. So we decided to track it and make the game like not super hardcore, like mid-core or something. So yeah, it needs to be done because I'm a fan of the game being hard on you. I'm a fan of the true hardcore experience, and I was always repeating myself that the game is not for fun. EFT is not a fun game. It's not for your pleasure. It's just a pain in the ass, basically. And it's okay. It's okay, because you will receive that emotions when you finally complete, when you finally win the raid. So you will receive that emotions, and that's one of the main things about the game. But if you got it too hard, you will receive a lot of responses, a lot of things that will draw attention of the game. So that's why you need to balance these things and make it somewhere in between truly hardcore experience and a mid-core experience, something like that.
So I can't imagine a single other game developer being like, our game is not supposed to be fun.
That's true, that's true.
I love it. I love your honesty. And honestly, it's just so refreshing to talk to you up here, Nick. Hey, and by the way, Escape from Tarkov Arena that we're playing on stage all weekend is free this weekend. It is free to play until Monday. So if you haven't played it, you go and play it in the LAN. If you're watching at home, play this game while you can for free this weekend. And this next question is about that. With the free weekend going on for Arena, do you believe that Arena could become a free-to-play game at some point in the future?
I'm not sure, because Arena is a big part of the EFT. So it's not like you can play it separately, of course, but the game, the Arena, is the big part of the EFT lore and everything. So I'm not sure that it eventually will be free to play, but at least free weekends is a kind of good thing for Arena. So most likely we will continue this practice in the future.
How do you handle the balance in terms of developing quality of life features and releasing the content patch pretty much every month?
I was just talking about the EFT is not a fun game. The development of EFT is not a fun development. Because you guys, we can feel your pain. And we actually have a lot of pain within the development too. So it's everything surrounded by suffering. And it's kind of okay, I guess, because it actually allows us to understand that the things are like what we're doing is important, because it actually has some kind of meaning, because everything is getting achieved with the pain, and that's a good thing. How we balance quality of life features and the content, it actually doesn't link anyhow, because we have different separate team for the content, different team for the quality of life features. We have a huge list of the quality of life features, and it's always it's always a thing that we cannot take all of them for the patches, and we try to select the most important ones. And this is a thing that we can call a balance, because we just select things which are most important for the people or have the most influence on the gameplay in terms of quality of life features. And that's it. The content is a separate thing. and they just going and going and going. They doesn't link anyhow to the quality of life feature production.
Something that I think a lot of people here might be interested in. There have been discussions about TarCon for Tarkov players, like an actual convention for Tarkov players. Now, I would love to hear if there are any more plans for that. And also, are there any plans to host EFT Arena LANs at some point in next year or so?
Yeah. So yeah, we have plans for that for TarCon. I know that it's kind of frozen right now because we have a lot of events going right now, like TwitchCon, like and so on. But the game will be here for the long time, at least for 10 years. And of course, I think all this engagement. So we have like approximate overall engagement of the whole community around the world, like the people who actually interest in the game. It's something around 50 million people. 50, not 15, 50 million people. And the number is so huge. Of course, this is the potential buyers of the game, so the people who actually interest in the game. And I believe that we need to do something in terms of like community stuff to make some kind of event, some kind of conference. So this task is still on the tracks somewhere, and eventually it will be 100%. And what was the second question?
The second question was whether or not there are any plans to host arena LANs at some point in the next year.
Yes, because I believe it's already being done something in that direction. Even now, for the TwitchCon, we automated a lot of stuff for the specific purpose of the tournaments. And I believe in the future, it also will be possible. Again, with your engagement and with it, if we will see the need of additional action related for the events like tournaments and stuff, we will definitely do it. So we kind of refer to your opinion and to your reaction. If we see that you guys are wanting it, so we are on it and we will do it. That's it.
What do you think, guys? Do you want to see some LANs for this game? I think there's a lot of support for that. So he has to do it now. You wanted it. He said. So, we see a lot of esports tournaments already as well being hosted by Battlestate Games. We've seen a lot this year, and there are other tournament organizers now trying to get involved as well. Have you ever considered introducing betting so players could have an extra incentive to watch the tournament?
What do you mean exactly?
I think this question means like gambling on the outcome of the events and things like that.
Actually, I don't know, because we were never about this particular case. We actually always about the experience, the emotions, and so on. So I think this particular thing is more on the organizers, I guess, on the promo companies and so on. So
I wonder if, outside of just straight up gambling, whether there's like any possibility to have an in-game option to like maybe bet on like esports events that are going, some sort of integration that's actually like in the game itself.
Again, it could be done within the in-game currency or something. It could be done 100%. But if it will be based on a real currency, it could be a violation in many, many countries around the world. So that's why we are not thinking about it right now. So, yeah.
With the release of PvE, which is actually almost like a standalone project, how did the process change in the development team? Did you divert some specialists from the team, like just to focus on the PvE?
Actually, it's a pretty small part of the team who is working on a PvE functionality. And there was a moment that we did fully standalone offline raids. There was a moment we actually redesigned stuff in there. But it's not like a big amount of people working on that. But still, we have a pretty big plans for the PvE with the additions of different features and stuff. So the general development process didn't change basically, but with all of this interest of the PvE, people loved PvE. It was unexpected actually, and yeah, we decided to add more resources to continue developing the whole PvE subsystems. So yeah, PvE was a surprise for sure for me, for sure.
With the popularity of PvE, and it took you by surprise, and talks of mod support as well, are there any plans to make it compatible with pre-existing third-party mods with the inclusion of modding frameworks for Unity, such as Bepinex?
The whole idea behind the mods, I like the idea that players, creators will have an option to actually create mods for the game, for the PvE. And I was saying some time ago that eventually there will be a system which will consist of moderations and I don't know, tools and everything that will actually provide creators an ability to basically add mods and stuff for the PvE. So I like that idea. And all of the existing stuff, we will have a process like a pipeline or for adding those modifications officially within the game. So I 100% about it. So it's totally a good thing for the game. And yeah, let's wait for it. I think it will be available sometime after release. So yeah.
Fantastic. You actually answered my next question with that question as well. So that was fantastic. Are there any plans to have more armor to include throat protection or even a standalone set for the neck itself? As this is quite a hot topic to the community right now. And I know a lot of players will be happy to hear any insight on this.
Yeah. I know that the neck hitbox is kind of bothering you right now, and hopefully something will be done, because there is some different things that we can do about it, some kind of interpolation, some kind of simplification of the hitboxes. We will do something, because it's always like this. If we have some ongoing, let's say ongoing rant about some kind of feature of the game, it's not like we don't care. We always try to take it into the consideration and make some changes. So most likely something will be done about it.
Are there any plans to utilize ETS more than it is now? We haven't heard any update about what's being tested on it other than Unity 2022.
It's a pretty big test. It's important. So right now on ETS, we have Unity 2022, and we have a responses that it's still the same. And it's good, because it was the case, actually. We just needed you guys to test the build on Unity 2020 to have the feedback that everything is okay. So we will switch onto this new version for the main branch, and eventually we will start adding the features that actually suitable for Unity 2022 and add those fancy stuff that we promised. And about the question that is there will be some new stuff to test on ETS. Eventually, yes, I don't have an exact plans for the testing for the ETS, but eventually something will be for the ETS for sure.
With that transition to Unity 2022, will players see a difference with how the game works between now and once it's transitioned?
It won't be so noticeable at first, because yet again, it's just the change. It's not like the total change of the game engine, it's just a new version of it. But new Unity will allow us to implement some technical stuff that will give performance, that will get networking performance, and so and it will be noticeable. But it won't be like this, that the game will totally change in terms of visuals, in terms of networking in one single day. So yeah, don't have those high expectations on that. Of course, there will be changes, but it will be gradually implemented.
So from the roadmap that we've seen, there are a lot of technical and quality of life improvements. Could you give us a teaser of what's the biggest priority for the team right now? Is it, for example, smoother and more stable FPS across locations, bug fixes, or features to make the gameplay loop more enjoyable?
Everything. Everything is, it's always like ongoing process for us to balance between optimizing features, quality of life features. But the good thing is, as I mentioned before, we have separate teams and they're working on the whole things all together. So I can say it like this: all of the roadmap stuff, it's important, is important for sure. But the most important thing right now that we're doing is the end game content, storyline quests, preparation for release, and the events that we plan to release this and the next year for you. They are huge. They will be remarkable. And this is what we're actually working on, the most of the team working on right now. So roadmap doesn't actually represent all of the work which is going on right now. So yeah, something like that.
Just everything. Everything.
Everything is important.
That's
What can I say?
last question from the community here. You made audio this wipe more realistic and closer to how everything sounds in real life. Can you share a little bit of what has been done behind the scenes to give this level of kind of realism?
So yeah, we reworked the headsets and everything, and it was actually a process that we bought a lot of headsets in real life, and we just record them live in the field. So we actually added to the process the engineer team, the sound team, so they basically work together live in the field. They like tested everything and tried to represent the real life prototypes. So yeah, so it's that simple. We just added engineers for the actual live testing of the real life devices, and that's it.
That's fantastic. Hey guys, make some noise for Nikita, please. That's such an incredible interview. I genuinely believe that you will never hear a more honest game developer in your entire life. And now, something that we would love to do, if you guys are interested, I might need some help from Nick and my stage guys with keeping this monitor safe down here. But we would love to get a photo with basically everyone here who wants to be involved, with Nikita in the front. If you would like to be in this photo, just calmly make your way to the front of the stage, just here where my friend Nick is shown. That's calm. I really appreciate that. I thought there was going to be a stampede. Just come down to the front of the stage. We'll get a big crowd of people here, and we're going to get Nikita to come and take a selfie with everyone. Nick's going to be right here on the stage, right here.
And I'll take a selfie, right?
Yeah, if you want to get a selfie, I think we'll also... Daniel's recording over there as well. I don't know if we actually have a photographer around. That would be pretty cool. We're clearing the stage. Guys, you gotta scrunch in, make sure we can get you in this photo, as many of you as possible. Do you want to get a video as well? Like, just so that you can, like, just see how big this crowd is, like, properly? Guys, make some noise